Hi, hello everyone. Thank you to Talk About Life, and I have a new announcement to make. Talk About Life is now available on Spotify, Anchor.fm, and also soon it's going to be on Google Podcast Manager. So all these interviews you can find it, and you can actually listen it while you do your work, while you're on computer, while you're cooking, you're in the kitchen, you're having a shower, you're in the gym, you're running, you're walking, you're in the car. You can hear it in full. So if you have a 1 hour interview, it's not going to be like different episodes, it's going to be in full. So the advantage of a podcast for the viewers and also for the interviewees, the people who come online, it's so much more easier on podcast. And I would invite anyone to write in to talk about, to discuss topics, suggestions of topics and suggestions of guests. So today I would like to thank my guest for today, Ling, our old dear friend, and also So Young, the wife of Ling. Thank you so much, you guys, for coming. And today's topic to me is very casual, but it's really a taboo topic for a lot of people. And I like to excavate this topic a little bit in the first 3 to 5 minutes. And you know, for women especially, dating and getting into a relationship and getting into a marriage is being a tall order these days, especially when women have their careers first. And they have to have their careers first because they're answerable to the boss, right? Who will pay them the salary. Your life is being committed to a job. And your life is being committed to a family, probably to take care of your siblings, right, and your parents. So this is a topic that I'm so appreciative that Success Story, Ling and So Young has agreed to come online to share with us the success stories of coming together and the challenges that they face, and then the aha moment. And even before I start my interview chat with him, I'd like to share my story. Some of my close friend stories to So Young and Ling is that I still do have lots of friends, okay, guys and girls, women successful, men successful, building their careers, but having a really hard time. Hard time meaning that people can't find time or space or the occasion to meet other people, let alone build a relationship, and let alone put your life around a relationship. That's almost impossible in a huge city. That's really impossible for a cosmopolitan city. I think in probably Hong Kong, Singapore, Taiwan, New York, Paris. You in big cosmopolitan cities, you find that marriage is really, really hard to come by. So with that, I like to bring this very important topic in our hearts, but yet it is seldom spoken out in the world because there's so much taboo around this topic. But in the new millennium, I think we should be brave enough to face whatever issues in our lives. So Talk About Life is a platform whereby people can share freely in your heart, in your sincerity, without anyone's comments. I switch off the comments anyway, freely and honestly for all our viewers, that hopefully some of us can get some values out of this. Thank you so much, Ling. Hi, hi guys.
Hello. Hi.
Ling, how are you today with So Young? How are you feeling in Hong Kong now?
We're good. Today there's a bit of a typhoon.
Oh wow.
Last night there was typhoon one. We just heard that it's going to be coming soon.
What number is that? I think they have a number as a code, right?
Yes, correct. So in Hong Kong, when it's typhoon 8, you don't have to go to work. Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, Ling, I've known you this while. I'd like you to share, it must have been a tremendous effort for both of you to come together right from the beginning. All of us go up and down. Let's not talk about the history too far back, but talk about your relationship. It must have been difficult for you to find time being in your job? Could you share that first, balancing job and relationship before we talk about the union? What about that? What's your experience like?
We always joke about it because I think the way we dated was very interesting. So I met So Young while we were playing golf. We both of us actually took part in a golf competition as strangers, right? And then we were not playing in the same flight. So not playing in the same flight means that we are actually playing as different teams of four. So I got to see her at the beginning of the competition, and I got to see her at the end of the competition. And actually, that day was an extremely hot day, so she was extremely flustered and frustrated because she was hungry, she was hot, she was sweaty, and we didn't play in Singapore. We went to Indonesia to play. And what I did then was I actually went to her and I offered her ice cream. And she was like, "Why are you offering me an ice cream?" Right?
Yeah.
And then after, I think we started to get to know each other a little bit more. I mean, that broke the ice. We started chatting a little bit. And throughout our whole entire dating period, I think what was interesting is that we spent a lot of times in the car. So
In
we
the
actually,
car.
yes, in the car. So we actually hardly went out to places. So I had my job, which it was very busy, right? As per what you said earlier. At that point of time, she was actually about to stop working because she wanted to be a yoga teacher and she wanted to also to learn English and to be an English teacher. So then she had to study for the certification to be an English teacher. So she was in between from the point of about to resign to about to take lessons. And so whilst that's happening, she was constantly traveling around. And so what I did then was that we actually found time by I go to her house at 6 a.m. in the morning. I'll pick her up. I'll fetch her to her class, which starts at about 7. She'll go through a whole entire day of her yoga class, her English classes, and so on and so forth. I'll be working. When I'm done working at about 8 or 9, I'll give her a call, and her lessons would have just finished. I'll go and pick her up. I'll send her home, and throughout the whole entire car journey of 20 to 30 minutes, that's our date time. So that was actually how we actually dated throughout our whole entire courtship.
Yeah.
I think what was interesting is also a case where from the time we met to the time we got married, it was actually extremely short. So we broke it down into 100 days, 100 days, 100 days. So from the time I met her to the time we got together, it was about 100 days. From the time we got together to the time I proposed to her, it was about another 100 days. From the time I proposed to her to we got married, it was about another 100 days as well. So our whole entire journey from the moment I knew her until we got married was approximately about 300 days or less.
300 days.
Yes.
I really like you plotting this curve. You know, being a person who's a business, right? You always have this curve, right? In phases, right? So I just wanted to know, like, how did you balance? I think for So Young it's a little bit easier because you were trying to train yourself as an English teacher, right? At that particular moment. But for someone who is very busy with a career, how did you were saying, yeah, you're juggling, driving, spending a lot of time. Was it difficult to like carve this niche of time around something new, you know, in this spectrum of life? That hey, now this is going to be my priority now. You know how we always think that okay, this is going to be my first project management. So you know how does that how do you juggle it besides just driving it mentally? How do you juggle it? I think this is going to be number one.
Actually, to be very honest, I don't think we intentionally plan for it. Such, I think both of us are similar to a certain extent where we are pretty introverts. We both of us actually value our own free time a lot. So I never once wanted to stop her from going for her yoga classes. I never thought about her asking her to stop going for her English classes. In the same manner, she never thought about asking me not to work. So I was busy working, she was busy doing her own lessons and studying and doing her yoga practices and such. But beyond that, there was a certain aspect where, okay, when there's times where we can coincide and meet together, then let's meet. So there are times where we actually just met each other, like in between her yoga classes, I have lunch hour. So it coincides, and I'll just go and fetch her, and we'll have a quick lunch, and then after that she'll go off and continue on for a yoga class, and I'll just continue to go back and work. So literally, like what I mentioned earlier, we didn't intentionally plan to date in the car, but somehow I think we constantly spend a lot of time in the car.
Okay, I got a very important question. Did the factor of time or the phase in your life uh, affect your first 100 days? Because you thought, because for mature individual, we're not more 18 years old, right? Not more like 18 years old going on dates with your classmates. People are really talking about you're going into a relationship with the supposition that, hey, this relationship must come to some kind of fruition that is worth my while of investment, right? In very pragmatic terms. But it's real. How did you feel that, hey, I'm at this phase in my life? I think it's time to really get into a serious relationship, and that should come to some point of a fruition. Did that factor come into both of you?
I think I'll let Soyan answer this. I think what was interesting, right, when all of this happened was that it actually happened at a point of time. So I spoke about yoga class and I spoke about English classes, right? And I spoke about her leaving her previous job. Actually, that was a point of time where she was planning to go back to Korea for good. Right. So from a point of view, there was a certain timing that she was actually aiming for. So maybe you can share a little bit about that.
Yeah. Um, I spent about 18 years by then in Singapore, and I came to the conclusion that
Oh, you were in Singapore.
yes, I wanted to leave Singapore for good, and it's time for me to go back to my country,
Hmm.
find things that I really can enjoy,
Yeah.
and that was yoga. And then the reason why I took up the English course was when I go back to Korea end of the year, and maybe I could teach um, small kids to do the simple English. So by the time when I met Ling, my life plan was about 6 months time. I leave Singapore for good. I give up my PR, then I will start my new life in Korea. Then
Wow.
yeah,
Then I destroyed all her plans.
So I just, yeah.
I, when I started to date him a little bit more seriously, I told myself, anyway, I have my grand plan, change, yeah, my life.
Grand plan.
Yes, and I give him maybe 100 days. Whatever I do in my life, I always give myself 100 days for me to feel whether this is my way to go or not. So I was kind of giving him about 100 days whether we can find chemistry with each other, and then we can further plan further together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was quite interesting because she constantly asked me, right, do you intend to marry me? Are we going to be serious? Is this going to be moving forward? If not, I'm going back to Korea. Let's not waste each other's time.
I only mentioned that one time because yes, I only mentioned that one time after I given myself about 100 days, and then it seems like we didn't have a candlelight dinner. We didn't really have a proper dating, and we constantly meet each other in the car on the way to somewhere. Whether this relationship is going towards to marriage or something, you know. So as first and last time, I asked him if we are not serious about this relationship. I'm about to go back to Korea, so we have to make a choice.
I like So Young's how should I say, approach. I really like your approach. I think this is not something that a lot of women are brave enough to do. And looking at you being a Korean woman, and you know, Korean women have a reputation that they are more introverted, submissive. You know, but you are come across as, now that you speak about this, you're very clear in your mind. Okay, you set yourself a time frame, which is important for goals, right? Goals without time frames are not goals, right? You are just shifting your goalposts anywhere. So you have set 100 days for time frame to test out, to, I should say, litmus tests, and your questions are litmus tests. I like that. I'm going to use this and send this video to all my girlfriends. Okay, because I think litmus test is very important, because the honesty of conversation, I really respect that from a woman's point of view. Number one, you do not have any fear in speaking up your mind. You say that, is this going to lead to somewhere serious? If not, I'm not going to waste my time, right? I'm going to go back my grand plan. Number one, you've got your confidence. Number two, your clarity. And number three, you are giving the other party, this litmus test is so important. Is it going to be acidic, or is it going to be neutral, or is it going to be like alkaline? I'm going to test it out myself and see for myself, and then to analyze. So even though you may seem to be like, okay, asking certain very gently, but in your mind you are very clear. And with that, I think I have great respect. And definitely I'm going to jot down in the description the approach, point one, point two, point three, which is very useful for female viewers who are listening in, especially the female or male viewers. They are confused, they do not know, and there are a lot. And I do hear a lot of stories, even currently, I do hear stories that people are very successful in their career, make a lot of money, very clear in what they want in their life, but when it comes to relationship, right, they're just in a total mess, right? So I like the way So Young has actually put across, very gently, simply, but yeah, with so much clarity. So how did Ling take all these things? Like, okay, she mentioned 100 days, but in your mind, you keep constantly thinking that she's like talking to me many times, but actually she only mentioned once.
Yeah. So my answer to her, I think, was the answer that actually frustrated her a lot. My answer to her is, we are almost there. Not yet, but almost there. Hang on and wait. Then she'll ask me, what do you mean by almost there? I said, I can't explain to you. We are just almost there. So continue waiting. So that was my answer to her, actually. And it was only after quite a while, and it was very interesting. So what actually led to me proposing to her, and the definition of almost there was when I felt that everything between us had been too smooth sailing, right? From the moment we got to know each other to meeting up, we were actually very happy traveling around in a car. She never demanded of my time, I never demanded of her time. We were chatting and things like that. Not once did we ever quarrel. So what I felt is that what's important for a couple to be able to know how they move on and how they live their life is how they react after a quarrel. So when you quarreling is very easy. So after quarreling, there'll be people who will have a very growth mindset, right? And they will go, okay, this is how we move things forward. How can we prevent this from happening in the future, and so on and so forth. There are people who just, no, I don't care. This is my way and I demand it because I am me, right? You have to respect me if you want me, right? In a sense. And that was something that I felt very uncomfortable because I didn't know how I would react in front of her. I didn't know how she react in front of me. And I remember, I think the day before I proposed to her was a day when I met her early in the morning again at 7 a.m., right? We went out, we quarreled because of an activity that happened the previous night. There was a misunderstanding. So she did something which I disagreed on. And then I didn't give her my displeasure. When we met, my whole entire face was entirely black and red. And I was very unhappy. So we started talking. The moment we started talking, I lost my temper and I flared up. Not intentionally, because I was really angry. right? So after I flare up, she also flare up. I mean, it's only normal, right? When one party raises his voice, the other party will naturally just tend to react. And it was pretty bad because we quarreled for a good, I think, 4 to 6 hours in public. And I remember it was at Velocity, car park. Right, we went there. We were supposed to go there to do some work, right, for myself. And at the car park, because we quarreled, and I just left her standing at the car park, and I just walked away. And it's a very man thing. So when I walked away after about a minute, she didn't follow, and I was like, okay, shit, I was too much. Then I went back, okay, I'm sorry, let's go. And once that quarrel was over, we decided, okay, let's stop quarreling. I think what got me very happy was that in the evening, that was when we started talking, okay, what were some of the issues that caused us to quarrel? What was she thinking about when she did certain things? What were some things that I was thinking about when I said certain things? And that was when our tempers have actually went down. So after we spoke about it, and that was when I felt that, actually both of us are pretty similar. When a problem happens, we don't do a blame game, right? What we do is actually, let's look at what's the problem, we go back, and how do we actually go about solving that problem. So once that was solved, the next morning, we went for golf at 4 a.m. So at 4 a.m. when I woke up, I told her, I said, the time is right, let's get married. Will you marry me? She was like, we just quarreled yesterday. Oh my God, what's wrong with you? And that was when I explained to her, I said that this was actually the thing that was missing that I kept telling you we are almost there. And I couldn't tell her. I mean, at the point, how should I tell her? We're almost there. What's missing is you need to quarrel. Come, let's pick a quarrel. It doesn't make sense, right? So I was just waiting for a quarrel to happen naturally, and I wanted to see how we reacted. And that actually was a strong enough point for me to see, oh, this is how I think we can live our life together for the next 20, 40 years ahead. And that was good enough for me. So yeah, so every time, even though she gave, okay, not every time, she said only once about time, 100 days. I think each of us had our own timeline as well. And there were certain things that each of us were actually looking for. And I think as per what I think heavens have blessed us, it actually coincide all the time together. Yeah.
So I like this story because I think this story you actually wanted to see what honesty, like you want to see the person in totality, in total honesty, to peel off the onion peels, right? The skin of onion peel, to go to the inner core of the onion, right, so to speak. And I think you have said it so well. What about so young? That quarrel, was it? I mean, was it significant in the relationship when you look back? Was it a catalyst? Detailing is a catalyst. Like, okay, that's it. I got it. That's my aha moment. So young, is that an aha moment for you?